Here's to you, Miss JW. Thank you for being with me tonight. Welcome, everybody, into Studio 10 Broadcasting 10 o'clock talks. I am Michael Anthony, your host, and my co host this evening is the famous, world renowned JW. Jenn W, how are you? Welcome to Studio 10.
Fantastic. Thank you. Nice to
And
be
you
here
know
with
it is
you.
your home, too.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Great. I always want you to know that. I really do. So, off the green screen, we were talking about a lot of things. We'll wait a minute to let a couple people get in. It'll take a second to register. Even though we go live, there's always that wait process. So, I'm seeing light flash. So, that acknowledged that it's finally getting shared somewhere or to my page and probably yours if you're doing it. I don't know if you shared to your own page or not. At the bottom of the, not even at the bottom, but if you would watch off to the side anywhere, you will be able to see, like if you would go into your own, scroll into your own Facebook account.
Hmm.
And it is your home too. Hear it? I'm seeing light flash, so that acknowledged that it's finally getting shared
Yes.
somewhere or to my see how page. Far behind it is? Probably yours if you're doing
Yeah,
it.
it does have that's a 7-second delay.
Oh, it's more than that. It depends. Every night's different. America, every night's different. Thank you for coming in. Come on, join us. Share us out. We'll take a minute so we don't have any distortions. Tonight's guest with me tonight and host and within that her home too, Studio 10 Broadcasting. We're just waiting for a couple things to go down here, and we have that. Now I'm going to click onto the chat page. Gary's in. Sam's in. Hi, Sam. How are you? Thank you, brother. I appreciate you stopping in to check us out. It's the big Studio 10 Friday Night Blast, America in Crisis. We're going to be talking narratives, ideas, and ideologies, and thoughts, and analogies, and we're glad you're coming in to join us. And we might as well get started here, Jenn. I want to start, I guess I'll start a little bit this way. Tanks abandoned by the Ukrainian soldiers. Putin targets specific places. Something don't want to leave out. The easement of the masks. Is it time to burn them? What are your thoughts, Jenn?
I think it's disgusting. I think that truly you're making people breathe their own exhaust, and everyone knows it's stupid. You don't do that. They're just getting sicker and sicker. And if you did have COVID, or a big thing here is strep throat, and if you had strep throat, you're not going to get rid of it. It's just going to keep reinfecting you and infecting you. It is gross. Have you seen them? The kids would come
Yeah.
home from they don't wear them to school because they're homeschooled, but if they would wear them to like a church
Mm-hmm.
something, they would come home and they have to wash them. And I'm like, get that nasty thing in the washing machine right away. It was gross. I mean, they're like damp and there's boogers in them. I'm going,
I know. Well, they're children. And yeah, that's why, we have to stand up and fight for them. But masks are not as important as we find out. Think about this. Um, I'm not, it's not a mind bender, but it's a little bit of an analysis. During this whole time of Christmas and more, and another somewhat of an easement, but a lockdown with a lot of suggestions, it seems we are in the highest part of the last virus. And people are at Christmas shopping, they're doing all these things, and then the big return comes. All these products come from homes, which could have been somewhat contaminated. While they're infiltrating all these contaminations back into the stores, the world gets well again. How does that work in that narrative? When you think about millions and millions of people all touching things, well, I don't want that. They don't clean the package before it goes back. It goes back to the store. Are they ordered to seek and destroy and throw it into the trash? No. I would say that would be too much of a loss for the big corporate conglomerates. They would say to their employees, put it back on the shelf. I mean, do they have a cleaning crew for everything that comes back? No. Come on. Specifically, I've asked questions like this. They don't. So here we are, herd immunity. We're getting well. And how are we getting sick? Could be the aerosol.
right.
I know. I go on my tantrums with that kind of stuff. And then now, I mean, what's to come to the future? I don't know if you're aware of this, but robotics are so more sophisticated than one's minds would ever imagine. They are now bartenders and waitresses. Yeah.
Wow, I've seen it on that movie, Passenger. You know, where the people are in like this hyper sleep. It's either called Passengers or Passenger. Anyhow, these people pay to go to this planet, where they're going to have a perfect, healthy life, and they're in these little pods. And this one guy wakes up, and he's so lonely, so he has to wake up someone to be with him, and they have this wonderful time.
He liked that chick, didn't he?
He did. You know who it was? I think it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know the guy was Chris Pratt, and the girl I think was Jennifer Lawrence. Anyways, they had a wonderful time, but they were the only two
Until
people.
she found out.
Oh, she was mad.
Yeah.
Saw it. And they had that bartender, and he's the one who told her that the guy woke her up, and she was so mad at him. But it was a good movie. It was weird, but it was good.
Conditioning. I mean, there's messages, behind it all.
Right.
And I have a lot of that in here. I really do, including the fact that the subways in Ukraine are now a bomb shelter.
Oh, come on.
True
no,
story.
It's good.
I mean, you go where you feel most comfortable and safe. Some residential areas were hit. Russia's going to be facing cutoff sanctions up to $1.4 trillion held by the banks, stopping the business for Putin. Nord Stream stopped as well. Unbelievable. And they blame him for breaching Article 5 agreement as Biden provides troops to go to Poland. Wouldn't it be great if our military grew a set and helped in the takeover of all this disruption from Davos in the United Nations on the outskirts of Ukraine? Just saying. Any thoughts from you, Jen, on that?
No, they've got the power. They've got the equipment. They know what to do. I think that would be awesome. And I don't know what they're waiting for. I really don't. There's so many things that I just feel like all we need is one Marine. All we need is this. All we need is that battalion. But I can't solve, everyone's problems. I'm sure they're thinking of that, aren't they? Or are they just giving the president probably bad information? Isn't that what happened in Afghanistan? I mean, we don't need another Afghanistan. They're going to send people over there and then pull them out right away, but never get nothing done and give them tons of our equipment. That would be a concern.
It is a concern, but I'll try to analyze it as a major concern because truth of the matter is, Chief and Commander Joe Obama would be probably privy to information we would never ever see or hear about, and the privacy of their meetings and more. What's provided to them or to him if Obama would allow Joe Obama to work together with him more. But
wow,
we know the creation of why Biden stands in the place that he does, as the narration and dictation comes from, the true force, which was the previous administration that now has taken full control of the White House. So, what are they going to tell Joe? Whatever they want. But what Joe will do, he will honor the Agenda 21, the United Nations, Davos, and the world's participation into a different type of future where we lose our normalities. And that's where we are. But again, with these troops going over there, if our military would stand up, and we already have some there, I think we could take out a lot of this source and stop them dead in their tracks in many ways. Again, that's just hypothetical thinking, an analogy that I would like to see come true. Don't know if it will, don't know if it ever will. The point is this: Russia is coming in on three ends. They're coming in strong, and they could sign paperwork and just allow Putin to have the country, that particular part of the grounds and country back. Will it happen? I don't know. Will Putin demand more, or is Putin on a different type of mission? And that's why I say when I see things like this, they're hypothetical, of course, but we're in a place where we could control this whole scenario if America would just grow that set. If our military leaders said it's time for us now, where we stand in a spot to take it all back, take it over, and destroy their plan. And it would destroy over 50% of the element of the problems that have been created over there, which is in trafficking and more. So, again, we could only emphasize on things and possibilities. But what we do know is that there may be some signature sign. Who were you telling me was presenting the surrender of Ukraine?
No, I was talking about Sweden and Finland, who
Oh, I'm
they're
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
both of those countries are pacifists, and
okay.
they want, and they're making it very public that they wanted to join NATO, so they're protected. So if what is happening in Ukraine happens to them, they've got backup. And a Russian spokeswoman heard this, and she said publicly that that is a bad choice because that is really triggering them, and they're going to have to respond with military force if that does happen.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, does Putin really want to take on NATO? And those
He's already,
countries,
without a doubt, look at the steps he's already taken.
right?
He is one man of one strength with one belief, and he's on a mission, and he will take whatever it takes to do it. I mean, he's going to answer the call. Who's willing to join him? Who's willing to join him while we have the opportunity to take this all down? He's already started it. He's hit key elements in places. Seven laboratories that are not of our liking, and they should never be. So, yeah, I mean, that's why they're, of course, invoking sanctions on them and more. And nevertheless, if we're sending troops, we'll send prayers,
Right.
no matter what the outcome is, and hope that what is going on there has a better shed of light for where we are, and it makes a difference because there are people not happy in Ukraine. They just are not happy there. And this whole crap show that's going on in Washington, they'll defend other countries before they defend our own, of course. And as Biden comes out, I am a lion, hear me roar, but nothing for America. So where is that Build Back America Better plan? At the open border. Must have got lost at the open border. One of the illegals probably stole the plan from them. I don't know. Sports are pulling out of Russia, though. The capital city looks like it's under siege right now. Ukraine police say that the leadership is all corruption, and many are supporting the actions of Putin, and they are happy that he is there. In casualties of war, there's always going to be a different analogy, and there's always two sides to every story. However, near 40 explosions around the Ukraine capital that went off this afternoon left people in awe as they took it over. Now, if the mainstream media doesn't report on that, that's not your or my problem, but that's where we are in this whole scenario. And I don't know if anybody knows this as well. Lindell will be at CPAC tomorrow. And what he wants to say to everybody, and what he has already said even to somebody I know more close to you than you think. Nothing is going to come easy and anytime soon. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. Right. Unbelievable. And then France to surrender to, they want nothing to do. They're going to surrender to whoever holds the cards in this game. Pretty strong statements from countries, Pretty strong statements from countries. Let's say hello real quick to Danny Campbell, Dave Cooperman, Charlie Walsh, B. Dice, Gary, Beth, Alyssa, Kathy, and Sam, as we share out through America and hopefully worldwide this evening. So something else I wanted to bring up to you, because I know you're all over the place. You do a lot of reading. You do a lot of memes. You're the meme queen out there. Car chips, oil reserves. Gas is up to $3.59. Diesel fuel at $4.60 in Pennsylvania. How are you in your state?
It's just under $4. It was $3.99. And my son was teasing. He's like, look, it's not at $4 yet. We're like, shut up, Ben. It's close enough. But yeah, it's frustrating. I cannot believe how we just took the edict or whatever you want to call it when he first came into office and he got rid of that XL pipeline. We were like, what? And then wasn't it like the next month or week that they blamed it on Russian hackers that the Colonial Pipeline on the east side of the country that was hacked. And I'm like, we're like really being stripped of nothing. That's our GDP. That was our thing. We were self-sufficient with gas and oil. So I just cannot understand why we couldn't take it back. We certainly wrote to the governors who contacted that 10th Amendment that we did it. But it doesn't matter. And it's like a dictatorship. We have to find some way. I'm really focusing on that Convention of States. It's Article 5. And everyone says, oh, no, the 5th means, you can be quiet in court. And I'm like, no, Article 5, not the 5th Amendment. Article 5 of the Constitution specifically says that if we get a 2/3 majority of the states to come together, all they have to do is give us a date and we can, meet together and say how we're going to take this regime down. That's how you deal with it. But no, we've talked to old guys who have been in like World War II. They were on one of Dave's shows and he was not into
Bill
it.
Muckler?
Yeah,
Bill
good
Muckler?
guy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, book author. Bill Muckler, great guy. If you get a chance to check him out, please visit with him. Old war hero and author. Don't forget that name. Support Bill. He's out there for all of us in America, analyzing and trying to put it into the best words with clarity for everybody to understand. Support his books, buy his books. Please help Bill. Great guy, promise. I wanted to bring something else up to you. OPEC. All Joe Obama has to do is make a phone call, produce more. But if that's the case, why keep stealing from our reserves and the prices don't go down? Well, it's a planetorial invasion in America of keep the economy high. Delivery services go up while the cost of oil crude comes down. But what does it do for America? Nothing. You pay for the same price. It's product sensitivity and marketing. We'll give you the same box, but we'll take 2 ounces out of it, but we won't upgrade the price, so you can't convict us of price gouging. We'll just remove product, but give you the same box. We'll put less chips in the bag, but we'll blow more air in it. We'll reduce the ounces, but we won't raise the price. And then in some cases, you see $1, $1.50, 7-10% increases, not by far. Give them to the weenie girl, Paskey up there, who promoted weenies for the weenies for 4th of July. You'll say 15 cents on a pack of weenies. Really? And now look where we are with all this false narrative propaganda. 1 second here, just for a quick second here. A lot of people are making comments. Gary says, do they actually think Putin is the least bit intimidated? We'll answer him. I'm going to say it by no. What do you say?
Absolutely
Putin
not.
intimidated?
No.
Not by his actions. No, of course not.
No.
Of course not. And you're right already, Gary. Charlie Walsh says, I just find it ironic that one tragedy after another, especially around election time, the virus hit in 2020, and there's your World War III. Wake up. It was bio. How do you not see that it wasn't a World War III? It exactly was that. So yeah, in 2020, and now it's war through 2023, probably, as he is stressing, it will probably go that far. No, it'll probably go even further. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to agree to disagree with you. It's just an analyzation of what I see to come, what I've preached for the last 2 years. And believe me, I got questioned a lot from my audience and my panel participation. How do you come up with it? Well, you analyze it. You put the pieces of the puzzle together. B Dice, hey, welcome. B Dice out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, has a landscape service business. Please support B the best you can. He will be out there grooming your lawns and more, as long as he doesn't have to go into the new Green Deal and then reinvest in all new equipment, because he'll need battery operated equipment. And only because the hydrocarbons in the United States will kill the world. No, it'll be what they're spraying that'll kill the world and kill you. Yeah. Just wake up, look up, and you'll see the damage that's being done on a daily basis throughout the United States of America. Wake the freak up, Pittsburgh. Wake the freak up, America. Wake up to the world. This is Russia trying to wake you up. He's sending this message out there. Charlie Walsh also says this. They are blaming Trump for this already, and he might be at fault. I don't know. Just saying. Tucker Carlson and a bunch of them Joe Regain, laugh out loud. Tired of this crap. They screwed nothing. They screwed nothing but propaganda. That's how they service us. Propaganda. I put a couple videos up there of how early Mockingbird went up and how they were trying to get Vanderbilt in a position and trying to put him on the hotspot. And he just claimed to say, oh, that was old 1950s stuff. Living in 2022. It continues. Nothing different. And hi, Nancy Vincent. Thanks for joining in. Hope I didn't talk too fast, but I was trying to analyze as fast as I could to give you the ability to take the microphone. Any thoughts on those comments?
No. I just want to say, yeah, you're right. There you go. You said it so fast.
So what problems do we have in America that we have to face? I mean, think about this. Think about this. American citizens must always come last. The Chinese Communist Party seems to be the regime of the China, the sponsorship to the new world of America. How about our own government party? How about the Fauci coup? How about the money laundering of our own political government? How about all government leadership personnel have relationships on the outside, interface with globalists for sex, drugs, trafficking, drivers, marriages, illegal citizenships, and more? How about who navigates and narrates all this? Could it be who you may think? China. We are being narrated, infiltrated with negative impact of many different forms and sources of narratives. One side, there's hope. The other side, there's gloom and doom. What are your thoughts on that? Is there going to be a big letter savior here?
I have ideas that could happen, but I wanted to ask you why China blamed the USA for Ukraine. How is that our fault?
Well, the same analogy that they used at Fauci was the one at fault with this whole bio scheme. They did revert the responsibility back to the fact that this was all scientifically and pushed on a narrative through Fauci and the Obama administration, only to create an issue to make it look like China was the ones who, in fact, had nothing much to do with things with the bio. But we all know that they were in cahoots together. I'm not 100% sure. Not factually 100% sure.
During the first Cold War, I think we're in another one now, seriously. But right after World War II, China and Russia had an alliance, and they're doing it again. And so I see we all see what Putin's doing to Ukraine and adding it to Russia because he thinks it's supposed to be there. Plus, he's also fighting against New World Order. And do you think that Xi Jinping is going to try to take Taiwan and make Taiwan part of China?
Well, that might have to do with the card chips and the shortages and a lot of technology things that they want to become king in. And by promoting an act of war against them, trying to get a surrender, would give them a position of a global power that America probably never even had as a super country. It won't do much on the military end, but as a provisional, technology future of the new Green Deal would give them the platform of money would be endless, because this new green is everything created for money. And it's not just that. When you really think about it, how is this China all taking place? Well, it's been Hollywood, news media, social platforms. And yes, usually we do have a problem because it continues, and America allows it, our government allows it, and we're living in it.
Right.
So when you look at that with some sense, and I could be real creative if I wanted to right now, but I think I said enough. I don't want to be on for 3 hours. And nor does the people of America who sit to watch you a show like this. China is wow. They are so huge beyond what we really understand and what they control on all the levels. I mean, really, Hollywood, music videos, the creations of messages. They have been influenced greatly and supported greatly by the United Nations and Davos. Davos, of course, is this one united format of all the countries, and they picked and choose. Why did they pick them? They picked China because China could produce cheaper than anybody else, and they stood to make money off of it. And that's the political agenda of Washington and many other countries throughout this globe. Profit, profit before ethics. Kill the small businesses, let the globalists be the empowerment to the new future. That's the lockdown. That's why it occurred. That was part of the reset. It was already reset. And guess what? Jenn W, you were the reset. Michael Anthony, I was the reset. America, you were the reset. You all lived it. You were in a reset, and it's already taken place. While our eyes were closed to the blinders of narratives of positives and negatives created by one world, one ingenious think tank out of China, they navigated us through this and put us in this position so the United Nations globalists could control this. I was going to swear. I'm holding back.
You're fun. Wow. Yeah.
It's factual. It's
Well,
factual.
the only little piece that I can see that I can pick up and try to not build back, I mean, restore, is homeschooling. I could never put my children in a public school, especially with this. We had the shot mandate or whatever, and they were taking it to the schools. They were kidnapping children and bringing them, this is in Australia, and bringing them to a warehouse where they were giving them the inoculation, which is not even an inoculation. It's
Right.
just the jab. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it was not even a question, to homeschool them, especially when the jab came out. I was like, no, because one of them wanted to go, because the youngest one, because her friends go to a private school. I'm like, they're telling me, these kids are telling me, you don't have any more children in school, so you can send Juju to school with us and we can have lunch. And I'm like, no, how do you know our finances? Which they don't. But they're just, it was funny. I'm like, no, she's not going to a private school. She's doing just fine where she is. And so that's my one stab to save the
So,
world.
but okay, well, but what you're saying to all the mama bears out there is think twice before schools. What,
Yes.
what would you say to them now that you're on this platform? We're trying to get to everybody out there. Uh, your message to the mama bears out there and to the young mothers that are not quite all there understanding the principles behind what your thoughts are. What would you tell them is in their best interest in this day and time? School versus homeschooling.
Don't expose your children to something that you can't undo. And so that's how I feel about the jab and public school. That was my biggest problem with postpartum. After I had the children, and you get depressed and postpartum, and the doctor is saying, do you know what's really wrong? Why are you crying? Why are you so sad? Can you explain your feelings? And I said, I never want this perfect child. At the time, they're perfect because they didn't talk yet and they didn't start smarting off. They're babies. But I said, I don't want this perfect child to, grow up in 4 years, get on a yellow bus, and have someone else call me or send home a note that says, they sounded out a word today and we were so proud of them. And I said, I want to be there for that. And that's when I really started realizing I need to get into this homeschool. And at the time, I mean, it was not popular. Actually, in the 70s, they started this thing called cottage schooling. And so, what I'm trying to do is get our lesson plans and all of the records that we've kept and all the projects we've done and produce them in this thing called Google Docs, and then you can sell them. So someday when I grow up, hopefully next week, because I'm taking classes to learn how to do this, and I would love to have a show where I'm just teaching people how to teach your children because it's wonderful. And it's just, I feel like, how could this not be the way to do things?
I hope you're putting play dates in there too, because
Oh, yeah.
even for us adults, we need human contact. I mean, to just be people and tell jokes and laugh and try to live life. And on the school's end, keeping them from them. Um, well, you have to, for what's going on in schools. It's criminal. At home, it's safe, but the element for play dates or socializing in some way for children to experience the playgrounds and more. I'm sure you're working on narratives that will fit that also. So, young mothers out there who have children or who are worried, who are and don't believe in the whole face coverings and more, there are other methods out there that you can, but you got to stand strong. You got to get up out of bed every day. Start by making your bed, and get those kids behind their schoolwork. So it
Right.
is an undertaking, and it's a full-time job. You're not just a full-time mom. Now you're creating a full-time job for yourself as well.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. It just becomes part of your life after a while. And we've always belonged to homeschool groups. There was one we went to in Michigan, and it was called Faith. And I'm really big on acronyms because I can remember it. It was faithfully assisting in the teaching of, or in homeschoolers. I don't know, FAITH. But you could even get the children that graduated, went through their homeschool at home and did this. It was only like what, twice a month. We would go to this church. They rented out the church, and there were like extracurricular activities. They had a gym class, they had a photography class, they had um, an art class where they were like sculpting things. And I thought that was so cool. Jessica went to a photography class, and you can count these on your transcripts. So I would love to do that as well, show people how you can write your own transcripts, but I have to be careful because it's not hard. It's good you keep records, but I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Obama could figure out how he could write his own transcripts." Because it's just joke, I'm being stupid
And look at
because
Michelle's creation of a menu. Kids wouldn't even eat their lunches. I mean, it
they
was
kept
pretty drastic. And that was the big drop of the new Greendale plant-based foods. Think about it. Kids
you,
wouldn't even
they
eat the stuff.
there was no salt. They wouldn't have salt because she thought it was healthier not to have salt. So everything was so bland. I was doing student teaching at a private school at that time, and they had some of the similar menus there. The Obama menus, and it was shocking. And everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, the kids are smuggling in salt just to make the stuff be edible."
Yeah, I hear you. And that's terrible for kids. So I mean, I think we can analyze this. In some ways, there were always benefits to school, education, kids' crushes, normalcy, and more. Celebrating the art room, creating Halloween, Christmas, making Valentine's Day cards for each other in the classrooms. There will be much missed, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you have to forget how it works. Jen, I think you're going to put a hell of a platform together, and I know you're going to narrate a lot of parents through this. Do you want to say at this point how people or mothers and fathers could get in touch with you if they need to reach out for any type of help? Or are you not prepared yet to totally give that information out yet? You're still in preparation.
Right. Give me a month to figure out how to do this. I'm going to a class and
Okay.
I'll figure it out. But yeah, if you need to just get me on Facebook. What I did do, or what I have done a couple of times, is send people these books just to keep the children focused and get excited about learning. They're you can get them at Costco. You could get them on Amazon. They're just like 8th grade in a book, and it just goes through. It's like they get charged, like, they're so excited. The children are so excited just to go through it, and they're like, "I know this, I know that," and you're almost homeschooling them on stuff they don't know or don't understand because you have to teach them, and it's not a real curriculum, it's just kind of a show-off book is what I like to call them, and the kids
Okay.
love it. The stuff that they know in it, they're like, "Oh, I wrote a whole story."
So you're going to be, I guess, promoting Dr. Zeus. You
No.
remember all that?
Hi,
It's all violations of the laws. They must be removed.
Sam, I am. Oh, I love
Casper was
those.
too white. He's supremacy.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, how many black ghosts do you see? It's not our fault. Ghosts come in white. They do because all
No
spiritual
kidding.
beings are of light. That's nothing. I'm not going anywhere with that. You don't even
They got
misunderstand. Good.
ridiculous with that. Yeah, the cancel culture, that's terrible. I can't believe they got rid of what was that? Some of the Dr. Seuss books, and then they
Yeah.
did
Bring
in.
them back, sweetheart. Bring them back.
Yeah, they're awesome. As a party favor or a party joke, a game we play is reading Fox and Socks. Whoever can make it through there without laughing or screwing up, we're like, oh, you got a party treat. And then the kids love it. They're like earning prizes just by reading a book, but it's tough because it rhymes. It reminds me
We,
so much. We made a meme of Build Back Better, and I said with what chicks and bricks or clocks and blocks because it sounded
yeah.
so stupid, the campaign slogan. And I thought that is why, which I'm sure is not, but I bet that's why they did the cancel culture on Dr. Seuss because it was too close to Biden's campaign slogan.
Yeah. Like Joe's a nerd. Also looks like a nerd. You can put a lot of things together out there and just, rock with them. And I think we should. All right, let's move on to something a little bit different here. This new Green Deal, Build Back Better. Joe Obama will help unify us as a country. You know what, Joe Obama, to both you morons, listen up real close. You may be onto something here. You may have actually unified the country more than you think, but it didn't work for you. It brought us closer together. We see through the shit. We're tired of it. And
Right.
thank you for doing it. Your plan didn't succeed you, not by far. Maybe they should put that into a rhyme, put it out there. But think about this. Let's analyze this just for a quick moment here. When you're in a position where the claims are made, and they are on all levels, and they have been, that they had the cure for how to fix all this, even though they separated a huge diversity of divide. But we will teach you how to understand it and strategize you to make you live with it. And all they did was made the Patriots stronger. They unified us as a country.
You're right.
A lot of brilliance. What happened to that plan? I mean, Houston, thank you for the problem. Really. Batman alert, Batman alert. Any of your thoughts on that? Did it work? Did it work for them or did it work for us? Not everything
Oh,
works that they put out.
it was a beautiful, no, it was a beautiful way to join us all together. We had one, it was my favorite part of that was the NASCAR, Brandon. That was so funny. That was the best part of the plan that backfired on them. And
It
it
didn't
was
start there. It didn't really start there. You were
you
on the
started
show.
you
You
started it.
you damn right I did. America doesn't really know that. I happened to have
It's
been on a phone with somebody at a college football game, and I said, "Start chanting, see if anybody does it." And they were drunk as skunks already at the game, and they did it. And that's when the stadium went viral.
oh,
And
that
I
was
had something to
beautiful.
do with it. Just a little part. It wasn't my voice. It was only from the think tank. It was only from the think tank.
That was
I,
beautiful. That was just a little, yeah, there is nothing wrong with being nationalism. Being proud of your nation. China is, Russia is. Why is it bad if we're proud of ourselves? That's frustrating. So it was just beautiful that how we're back to how everything backfires on them. And that is the latest thing that they're going through is getting rid of this nationalism. And why are we so proud? Because we're supposed to be. You should be proud of yourself.
it always feels great to beat the totalitarians. I'm sorry, big words, small tongue. Don't hold me to that. Okay. Anyway, don't ask me why I said that. It's Friday night. It's Friday night, and I'm on. I'm. It's date night with Jen. So that's my
Oh dear.
statement. Oh dear, she's
I'm like
married. That's
married with a lot of
nothing.
kids. Yeah, with a lot of kids.
Oh, there's a lot of you left. Don't worry about it. I guess I always say stay strong and stay mindful. Stay mindful. All right. So we're dealing with these actions of a lot of tools and crimes, um, and more, and these blocks to never return to normalcy. Um, Even within failure that they make, they still have a toolbox full for us. Um, that worries me. And we talk about things, and a lot of things come up on the internet the last 24, 48 hours. Um, Joe, don't threaten me, as Putin says. I will put you in your place immediately. Um, that's a mindful threat. I don't know if he's directing something directly at Washington. I spoke about this last night for a few minutes. But, if Putin has any ideas, I mean, I don't need Washington any more than Washington needs Washington. Washington doesn't mean anything if it's not there anymore. We can always rebuild it. It worries me, though, that with technologies that we don't know what everybody truly is capable of, um, why would a man make a comment to a president of the United States to watch his tongue and bite his lip? Because, in ways you might regret what you're wishing for. Because Joe is trying to put a lot of push and force to show his strength that he's not even capable of understanding he still has on a mental level, but Putin's not going to take it. So my question to you, just as a sheer factor of conversation, do you think the United States should be under any type of fear, even with the truckers right now? I mean, earlier this evening when I talked to you, you did say you were a little bit worried for the truckers in DC.
Yeah, I am concerned because they have expressed that. And what if the same thing that happened in Canada happens in DC by the time they get to DC? And I said, honk louder. I don't know. What can you do? I know that Biden is very, very scared. He's scared of bikers. When the bikers would, go to DC and go around the mall and everything, when we were allowed to go, they couldn't have gone this time, could they? How long has our capital been shut and we haven't been allowed to go there? Was it since last year?
Yeah,
J6? Oh wow.
exactly.
Cuz I remember when he was vice president and he was terrified of the bikers because they were able to go during Obama, during his presidency, and the bikers went there and they wanted to make a law or something against the noise ordinance because they were so loud and he couldn't stand that. And I thought, oh, you're going to hate when these truckers get to DC, but they're probably not going to get that close because of Camp Pelosi. Every time they fortify that fence around the Capitol,
Yes.
something bad is going to come out, because they're protecting themselves. They know they're going to do something stinky. So they're like, we're going to put on some more razor wire. And it's so stupid because I'm like, what are you protecting yourself from? The people on J6 were not even, they were patriots. It was the Antifa and the BLM that were hired to come and really make it bad. They were the ones that caused the biggest problem on J6. And so I'm not concerned too much for the truckers, except I hope that they are heard. Because that's the whole point of this. Hear us roar, They're not respecting our freedom at all.
Yeah, hear me roar. I am a liar. As we find out at the end of every day and every episode of the shit show. Yeah, it couldn't. Yeah, you're right on. And if you think about the Memorial Day parade and the bikers or Labor Day, it was one of those events. Forgive me
Right.
for not remembering. They were like shut down from being the motorcycles were like pretty much shut down. You don't
Right.
come to Washington. You're not allowed here. Well, I might have a big surprise development coming to you. They just might be leading the parade, waiting for the truckers. They
Oh,
don't forget. The bikers never forget. You
that's
can't
awesome.
tramp on them. You can't tramp on them that hard. But again, if we try to analyze some of the facts of what went on and you go through Canada, they had police going around taking down every license plate number of every car, every person who had a gas can, and they still want to impose and fines and more and keep freezes on bank accounts. People are still having problems up there. This could all occur for the American people as well. We may have ground troops there, National Guard, which is, let's face it, we are family, but are we? Are we? I mean, you got to ask yourself, who are they working for? Well, they work for our government because we voted people in to control them. So they don't listen to us because we don't have the authority to make even an opinion to our military leaders. However, when you're receiving this is the fair part, losing the position of a job or a paycheck when you have a family, and that's this whole control mechanism that haunts America and the rest of the globe.
Yeah.
Fear to
Right.
lose. You,
Mm.
you know what? Strength will come if you stand, and we can abolish this and control the narrative back into our favor, such as helping Russia take down this disgusting,
Okay.
toxic
Oh,
camp of people. Go ahead, hon. Okay, Jen had a freeze. You still there?
it's coming out choppy.
Okay. Maybe I hit
No,
the
it's
nail.
choppy.
Choppy.
Meaning your
We'll
speech.
give
I'm sorry.
we'll give it a
It sounds
second to
great now.
pass. Oh, okay. We give it a second to pass. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're Wi-Fiing me to check my algorithms. They like checking me out to make sure I'm healthy. Arr, I am live. Hear me roar. Anyway, okay. So this toolbox. I mean, here's the whole thing. Really, they're not done. They're not done. Mike Lindell's made comments, and General Flynn came out and even said, "I wish this wasn't happened. You don't know the power of the executive orders." So they've been fair warned by some strong voices. I endorse them. I help them. I support them. I stand all in. But I would have rather seen them go down and barricaded parts of the borders that were open and blocked them. And made because then what could the cartel do from the other side, who's navigating all this, and it's an allowable navigation at the border. Uh, Everything is important. We can't be everywhere. We can't address everything as big as this United States is. But
Right.
the fact is, we can try, and we can only make the differences where we can. I foresee some things to occur. I just want to give a quick analyzation to resources and essentials, smart shop, smart buy, because this could come with devastational impacts. Beware. General Flynn would have never came out and made a comment on that level if he didn't understand the ethics of the law and executive orders. And he must know a lot. And let's face it, he is surrounded by a lot, and he went through a lot. So law is on his side. He understands it. But neither him nor I or Jen will ever say we don't support you. Wherever our truckers go, you're like our new military. You are our citizens of patriotic protest, which is just as strong when you can be peaceful, lawful,
Yeah.
but speak to make a difference as they are by using the energy of the truck. However, I don't know of what cost and consequences America will suffer from it. And we're already going through some areas and logics of suffering. But the one thing I want to bring up is with all the turmoil that did happen at the ports, has anybody really suffered? Not really.
I think no. It
No,
was all scare tactics. Whatever
exactly.
happened to all those boats? Did they finally unload them? Are they still there?
Some of them
I
went
know.
back.
Oh, I
So
know
were they full or
Florida.
were they empty? See, this is how America works. That's why there's tools in the box. People
Right.
forget that. They do. They forget to understand the whole picture of what they understood. They don't follow up at the end. Like, what was the outcome? These outcomes are come through creations of what they put in front of us when the narrative suits them to do it. So, yeah, 50% of them just left the water. The other 50% got in behind each other. But really, if you think about this, what you were seeing in most of the pictures was fake news. Social media allowing fake pictures where they were doing repairs and restructures and cleaning and removing things from shelves. There were no stores where anybody walked in
Mm.
and could videotape a store being empty. It never
Completely right.
occurred anywhere. What they
Right.
can't show you is smash and grab, violence, and videotapes of every shelf stolen bare. And that's okay. That stuff didn't matter to the agenda. It only
Uh,
mattered to us because we know the criminal activity that they allow. And look at the drugs and what they're doing. They're actually allowing formats of drugs. Today I was at and I seen a governmental car. They have a blue plate and it says government, property of the US government, which is mine. So I observed my car. Who's using my car? And I go over and I'm kind of looking. And in the back of the car, it comes this person and they have these baggies. Yeah, they're here to help you make better choices on how to stay safer with clean crack pipes and more. Paraphernalia bags,
what is that? The
the,
crazy.
the $60 million joke to help provocate, to help destroy families, to help rip apart a further divide of a new narrative of allowing drugs to come in, even if they're poisonous and toxic. We know that there is bad prescription drugs now being given out and handed out to kids, and kids are dying from Xanax and oxycodone that are laced with fentanyl and other products like that. We are at the worst times of America, and I don't understand why we're never better prepared for something of this. But this enormity has been so big. You live and learn in an enormity of a catastrophic events that are amongst us.
Right.
The next time we make America great again, we have to tear everything apart from the foundation up and rip it down and remove everybody. Because if we don't remove every bad apple, there will always be someone within it to filtrate and start it all over again.
A little bit
And
of
they're
rot.
everywhere.
You're right. You're right.
We have implants on every level of government in every office. And it's been there. Klaus Schwab swore it up and down in 2017 that we were ready for this. What they're doing right now, that we were ready for this. Speaking of Davos, the United Nations, and some of the unethical globalists and criminals of the world, of the rich, the Gates and more, and the Soros and the Obamas, and the people that privatize money from your pockets, and and in America, who condones their right to slavery by you living and breathing. I'm waiting for the breath tax to come up. We will probably be taxed on the quality of air that they instill to us as they poison us because it's costing them money to aerosols. You know, nothing of everything or everything of too much of everything is harmful, no matter how you look at it. If you eat too many fatty foods, eventually McDonald's, if you ate there, and experiments were done, within 60 days, it was life-changing what you've seen somebody look at eating 3 meals a day from McDonald's. It was life-changing what their products really represented. They were that
Right.
bad.
Mhm.
And so when you see examples like that, that's who they create these examples for, and that's the people that they support to allow you. Remember, through these lockdowns, you could leave your house, but you could only go where? To Walmart, Target, the Piggly Wiggly, Foodland, Kroger's, or McDonald's, Arby's, Chili's. You know, I mean, it had to be a fast food. Pull up to the window,
Wow.
snatch it, grab, and go get your food. And people
Wow.
were living it every day. So imagine the turmoil from people eating and absorbing all those fast foods while the stimulus checks were free. I got money to go. I'll just get lunch. What that was really doing to America. Another attack on America. Do you realize the enormity of how many different factors that they attacked? It's never ending. Every factor and every level of narrative that they affected us on. And now they're clearly promoting sex, gay porn. Biden's had an article in Australia where it came across in one of their papers where it was released through an Australian paper from everything I heard and what I saw, and I saw a picture of it. I can't confirm it real, but child pornography. Why is that not in the news in America? Because it's in a protected agenda, but it exists. These problems. Jess Woodruff is watching. Could he be related to you by chance?
The hot guy, yeah. He probably.
He is pretty hot. I
He's
saw
so
him in
cute.
his green and jeans. I'm sorry, Jess. I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm
my God.
sorry. I'm sorry. Laughter is a cure of many evils,
Yes.
and we all need that. And we all need to keep some type of positivity within us. That's why I try to throw a laugh in here or there. I'm not bringing up anything about Gorbachev tonight, though, because that was a dark time. But
Right.
and don't you dare laugh.
What do you think I'm thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking of. No one's gonna be mad at you for being here, are they?
We'll find out. Jesse's not. That's all that matters, right?
Well, yeah, join the club. It's not a big deal. We'd be glad to have you. In all honesty, I'm always happy to have you. So let's just throw down some good conversation here. Charlie Walsh threw in something here for a minute. Let me go back to this here. Don't lose focus. This is from B Dice. Don't lose focus on our election, and all this hurts Biden and Hunter Biden. Yes, including that drop I just gave you about the child porn. I hope. Charlie Walsh also saying blaming Trump already. Oh, we got that one. Oh, the comments are kind of quiet. A lot of visitors in and out, but a lot of visitors. Thank you for that. We do thank you. Jen thanks you. I thank you. Please always share, share, and if you can, subscribe to the YouTube and Rumble and a couple other platforms that are out there. I post up to them most of the time. I don't do a lot of lives in them. And Sunday nights, I do the America Disclosing, the Dark Radio Network project, which we analyze through a lot of conspiracy. Did you know I have a new nickname in America? This came from a pretty strong voice, too.
Oh,
And
do
I
tell
mean, he
me.
said it with class, but he called me a conspiracy terrorist and one of the best.
Wow, that is a badge of honor. That's very good.
Yeah, I might get
I'm
a
proud
shirt.
of
I might
you.
get a shirt and paint it on it. I am a conspiracy terrorist for America.
That's
Why?
awesome.
Because you know what? They left it all out there in the public's eye for us to find.
Right.
They just didn't realize the social media would work so much more in our favor than it did for them that way. And
Right.
again, that's just the way. So what else is on your mind here about America and all this turmoil?
I wanted to ask you about the crack pipes. Where in the
Oh,
world did that come from? I know Biden, but
well, let
was
me
that?
grab mine and I'll show you.
No,
No, I'm just
no. I know you don't
I
have one,
don't have one.
but it
I'm
was so
looking at something, but
ridiculous.
it's not there. I got a mini Coke machine. Does that help? Hold on. I'll get my Coke machine. Maybe we
No.
could.
All I'm trying to say is,
It's
was
true. I
that?
have a mini Coke machine.
Oh, is that? You've got a lot of cool stuff. That's
I do. I
awesome.
love collecting. I do. I love
Yeah,
collecting.
that's great.
I mean, I collect. I try to collect guitars. I collect artwork. I mean, I don't know why. I'm not.
Because you,
I just do stuff, but I like little Coke machines. I'm promoting
yeah,
Coke tonight. No, I'm not.
miniatures.
No, I'm not. You know how disappointed I am with Coca-Cola after what they pulled, as well as some of these bigger conglomerates. I'm not down with these people, but you know what? They own every goddamn thing that. Excuse that. They own everything out there we look at. And when
Weren't
you
they
go,
the ones that said try to be less white? Coke.
yeah, that was them. And I think they have now with something coming out now they're calling it black soda.
Oh, okay.
And it may have something to do with now the BLM going MIA with $60 million. But more
Mm.
so, there could be other factors in there, like the new black empowerment movement, because something bigger had to come along. And you'll see TV change to that with that analogy as a focus continues into the 20s here. You're going to see a whole different criteria of a new America, of an agenda. And again, you know, everybody deserves a fair shot, but let's keep fairness on the table. Of all we're not a country of color. No, we are no longer that, and we haven't been. When you were given citizenship at your birth in America, which makes you no more Polish or Croatian or Italian than anybody anywhere else, that's a place. You are an American citizen. That is your only true accountability to your title. Don't tell me you're this or you're that. No, that was your ancestry. That was your ancestry. And you must ask yourself, everyone must ask this: if we all came from one, and then two, we all came from that beginning, from that first. I'm not going to get into the content of it, but you know where I'm going with that. We all started as one, and now here we are of many different cultures. I don't know
Right.
how it worked. You know, if you biblically look at Adam and Eve, and then I think Eve didn't work out. Wasn't there a new Eve?
No, it was
No,
Eve.
truthfully, there
No,
is writings that say that there was a second lady created by God for him. The first one did not work out.
no. It was
Yeah, please look into it and let me know, just please.
no, but you know what's funny about that story? And I always used to pick on Jesse. I'm like, he's too busy out there naming the animals that she's talking to a snake and she had the forbidden fruit. And then Jesse's like, no, no, no. And he's showing me in the Bible, they were together. I mean, the stupid snake. What is not weird about a snake talking to you? Well, it was possessed and they had the fruit together. Both of them were there. But no, I don't think there was another Eve. There was only one, and they both screwed
Hmm.
up. The original sin, they did it together. So it's just as
Okay.
much his
All right.
fault.
So I want to take you somewhere else, just for so the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, the fallen angels, the creation of hybrids. All these ancient writings are wrong on those levels. All these manuscripts and all these scrolls and tablets
Wow.
are all wrong.
What if they were
Which
just story?
they were history before the Bible ever came into the picture, hundreds of thousands of years.
What if they were just storytelling?
Well, why are we finding pots that've been infused into stone and they're analyzing to be 3 million years old?
Wow. I don't know, but I
What does that say to us then? I'm not trying to create a diversity here. I'm just
right.
see some these are facts. We know that we can carbon date.
Right.
We know that there's technology out there that can show us buried cities anywhere in the world. And believe me, they work to the head of a pin. They know where they are, and we've only touched a very small under 5% of these buried tombs and more. And we are finding giants. and stasis chambers and different things. And the government, guess who? The U.S. government comes in. Um, does it ever make you wonder on that narrative? And I'm not trying to make anything up about the Bible or trying to tear it apart. But I always say this: man has always written. You know, God didn't write these books. It was given to the man by what he saw to what he could create. It sometimes just makes me wonder, and I don't lose faith because I believe in something more supreme. I really do.
Right.
Um, I'm going to leave it that way because everybody has a different method of belief and a different religion. And we could talk about, all the different sources of all the different places on the planet that do the same thing, that all have a different analogy, but they all have a very similar story. And they all mention very similar things, which is just ever so funny. Um, catastrophic events, or the power of a man's or a supreme being's doing. I don't know. But there are writings such as I described to you, even one about Virgin Mary, and a paper that's hidden in the Vatican that we know does exist, and the Vatican even admitted it exists, about that may not all, I don't want to get too graphic into religion unless I'm going to actually do it on a Sunday night because it's a different type of audience. But when you look at these things, how does that weigh into your mind?
I think of Stonehenge. I saw the weirdest thing on Facebook, and it was talking about um, magnetism and how I always am about polarization of the North Pole and the South Pole, and how you can control things with magnets. And that is how, back in the day, like Magellan, I don't know, the guy who mapped out the ocean, he had a compass, and he had a compass because he had a piece of iron, and that's magnetic, and it would always point to the north. But anyways, I saw this thing on Facebook that was talking about the poles, the North Pole and the South Pole, affecting the horoscopes, which I'm really not into the whole horoscopes, but they're saying that the horoscopes, which are the placement of the stars, and everyone was born under a certain constellation, and the poles are affecting the horoscope. And so there's telling people you're going to experience something really different. And I'm like, no, the world's going to pot. That's why you're going to experience something different. But they're blaming it on the poles. So, anyways, I was thinking of Stonehenge in England. And they're saying the Stonehenge is what they say it was created in, was it 3000 BC? I don't know. But in that same area in England, there is a cave with cave drawings, and there are pictures of aliens in there, like alien
Yeah.
heads. And I thought, wow. But they're lodestones that are made, that make up Stonehenge. That means there goes our train. It's okay. Sorry. It is like a football field away, but you can hear that thing like it's in my backyard. Anyhow, okay, so those
Time for
loads.
some Jethro Tull. Train.
It's so funny.
In the
Anyhow,
shuffling madness.
he must have said something amazing. It was like, oh, we're going to go by now and beep. Anyhow, these stones in Stonehenge, they're called lodestones. And the reason why they're called that is because they have lead in them. And so when they were placed where they were placed, whoever placed them there probably used the magnetism of the poles to, you know, get them, because they are so heavy. I don't know. Some people say it's a ritual sacrificial ground. I don't know. What do you know about Stonehenge?
Well, I know a lot of people have made hypotheses about it. I mean, you know what? There's no conclusive whatever in my mind. So I'm not going to narrate around it. Could it have been more for ritual? And I'm not saying good or bad religious. It could have been for
Right.
either or satanic. I don't know. Reverting back to the caves, I mean, it's all over old school caves. The Indians depict aliens of different identities, and we can tell because you can see the indifferences about different, entities of how they look and how the art was done. So we know
Right.
that they match, and it's like that we were here with others. So who were these earlier civilizations that seem to have the pre-existence to Homo, what we call our life of Homo sapiens sapien? So that would be the best way for me to share that to you that way. But
Well,
I couldn't conclusively say anything by what anybody's teachings are and any lecturers that I've listened to try to analyze it with any type of clarity. But what we do know is there's much that has not been investigated, much that has been suppressed. And as I try to share to everybody, every scientist is under the government's control, and that's how that works. Any scientist that does scientific work anywhere is usually done through a grant. Where's the grant come from? Your tax dollars, your government, or where their children are involved to support a project. It's all about who you know and follow the money trail, and everybody's political kids get some of it somehow, somewhere. And if you're lucky enough to be by them, you'll make a lot of money somewhere in the United States from it all. Let me give some waves out here. We're having some waves in, and I'm seeing bigger things come up, but I'm not getting the comments. Let me try to do a refresh. I don't like to keep anybody out if they're saying so. I apologize that we're always going through this, but guys, you got to remember, we're on a platform and we don't control what they do. All right, here we go. I did reset it. It came through. Gary, Michael, that would be strange. It was passed on from a superior being, but the books are from the disciples who told of their own experiences. Their own experiences or the shared stories of the experiences. I don't know, Gary. It could be either one. That's the way that's also written. There's information that states that the elders shared to the scribers, the ones who did the etchings, or the ones. And remember, we had beings through a 30,000 year time where there were 8 kings through 240,000 years that lived and ruled for 30,000 years. Were they coming and going between space and time? Because here we have time, it matters. There it doesn't. And when you look at the pyramids, so
yeah.
beautiful, so perfect. And when you do the mathematics, they match the speed of sound. How did they know that? These were intelligences that people need to start opening up and facing realities to, because history's not exactly truthful. And just keep open minds, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the respect of life to believe in something better and greater. This all started somewhere, somehow. We can agree to that. We're
Right.
here and now because it occurred, and we're in the place of reality, even though some consider it to be a holographic universe, and it only goes by numbers. Part of it's materialistic, the other part's holographic. Substances aren't even hard. Well, I have a hard time understanding that analogy, but some of the best and smartest people in the world talk of that being it's all superficial by creation of one's mind, and that's how our analogy we perceive it, and it reflects back to us. It's a visionary. Uh, uh, Gosh, it's a big word. But anyway, all right, I probably won't remember it right now. But when you put all these things together, it doesn't mean that we don't have to be good people with good faith, that want a better America, that want a better world, that want better
Right.
structure, that want better and to give and be more responsible to everybody that breathes on this living earth. Because we have intelligences here with us already right now that people don't even acknowledge. They'll squash it, but they don't even think. Does a spider have sexual feelings? They might. We don't know. But we do know if we go to attack one, it will jump and try to run away. Does that not give its first part of evidence of intelligence? It's smart enough to understand. It's smart enough to know how to hunt.
Right.
Automatically, a spider is smarter than a human, without a doubt. The mother dies after the eggs. The baby spiders are on their own. Instinctively, they know what to do. A praying mantis, same difference. So when you look how intelligences work, are they not living the same lives as we are, but different? They
Wow.
must. How is it different? So I think we come from an existence like that, and it's been our own, and it's been created. And I think we've had very good creations of life and different levels of other forms of life that been here. Look at the Paracas and the skulls in Paracas, the elongated skulls. They did the DNA, they did the blood. They're not of a human Homo sapiens sapien. What are they? We reflected them as being alien. They're found, it's confirmed, they're real. It's categorized. You can't take that off the map. How long have they been here? Longer than the books.
Wow. Are those in Area 51? Or no, the
Paracas?
ones you said they were. Where did you say they were?
Mm, Paracas?
Paracas. Yeah, that's where they are.
Area
Uh,
51 is something where it's within the military control of space development and crafts and more things of that nature. There's many said stories. George Norrie and a bunch of other people have done talks on it. Bob Lazar, who worked there, had theories. They call it UFO highway. When you go down that highway to get there, why would our own United States call the highway UFO highway? I mean, is that an indication saying, hello, this is soft disclosure? Yeah, we have already had disclosure. People just haven't realized it. But again, what does the whole big picture mean? I don't know. I'm sorry in a way that I hope I didn't insult anybody by bringing up some facts of, Adam and Eve and how it all worked. But unless you want to say that Eve was having black babies, Chinese babies, and had no call in the matter, then maybe I'll believe your theory. Otherwise, we have a bunch of mixed cultures and different identities of culture that don't make sense to what we know the DNA is capable of producing. You have any
well,
recourse of thought on that?
I've learned
You're mind
that
blown right now, aren't you?
a little bit. No, I don't
I'm
know. I'm
sorry.
trying. No, no, no. It's good. Okay, I was trying to think of natural selection and the things we do know that do happen. Not evolution. I'm not saying that because I've never seen anything growing besides a plant, but I've never seen anything evolve. However, I did read that when God created man and woman, there was enough DNA in each person to produce that many different colors and ethnicities. And I almost believe it because, I mean, my husband and I are totally different. I have darker skin tone, darker eyes, and darker hair. And he has toe color hair, or dirty dishwater hair is what they call it. It was like
Hmm.
blonde. And so this is really segregating and it's bad, but it's kind of funny. The kids kind of call themselves the whiteys and the brownies because it was like every other child was a whitey, then a brownie, then a whitey, then a brownie. And it was funny when we would go out to dinner when they were young, the waitress would say, "Oh, this is a beautiful mixed family." And I'm like, "No, it's just us. This is how they were born. It's genetics." And then I learned that it was from Ken Ham, the guy who built the Arc experience down in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He has a really good book out and it's called Answers in Genesis. And he says that a dog has was made with all the original dog was made with all the genetics to create all these different breeds of dogs. And so I guess I believe it. It was good. I mean, he's
How did
going
they
back
get
to
to all parts of the world? How
I
many how
don't
many
know.
dogs have two tails?
Oh God, really? You know of one?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened somewhere.
Right. You're speaking of the impossibilities being possibilities. How many
Right.
black babies do you have? How many Indian babies do you have? Yeah, I guess in a matter of time and evolution, different possibilities of changes in Earth could produce different uh, forms of life I guess, in looks. But when we do check cultures, DNAs, there's no inner blending of how that could work as to what science shows us now. Are we being lied to? This is part of the Big Bang theory of, and it's not the Big Bang theory, but this is part of that Big Bang theory that nobody really dives deep enough into. I do, because there's a lot of intellectual content that really makes one understand and also question the faculties of who, how, where, when, and what is all this. Just really, what is all this?
Right.
And our government is having a field day running around us. Why do I bring some of these things up? Well, look what they worship. Look what they back. Look what they do. Look how they act. Look how they treat people. Look what they have been doing for a long time. Look at the exposures that we've come across. You know, is there a different fabric to all this? Of course, I truly believe that there is. I think that we do share a space and time with something else. It's just not on our same plane. And I think in that plane, there's different levels of planes of different types of entities and more. So if you get into questioning different entities of lives and cryptids, they're there. They're there. Do they know how to break the fabric? Do they know how to get in here? I truly believe that in some cases, yes, some have figured it out, and that's why we have sightings and more. So when you theorize within that, that gives you the whole, wow, if that can be true, then facts can be true here, just the way you analyzed it by some of what you said about that book and the fact that the DNA can do it. Although there are a lot of people that are very brilliant that will just fight us to death on it. It's an unknown, but it's fascinating because it makes great conversation and puts people in a good place. I want to read something here because Gary, he's probably going to want to hit me tonight, but he's a good guy. Michael, that would be strange if it was passed on from a superior being, but books are from the disciples who told of their own experiences. So, yes, reflecting back to that and taking him forward, just like you can have 5 people in a car crash. And when you talk to each person asked, they each have a different story. All right, so let's take Travis Walton, for example, then. Okay, this is a perfect analogy. Do you know who Travis is?
No.
Travis was the lumberjack out that was, they were tree loggers. Okay. And they were cutting down trees. They were coming back through the woods. They saw a strange light. They approached the light. They look up into the sky, and they're like, oh, my, what the, do you know I was going to say? And they get out, and Travis walks towards the light, and he's looking up. All of a sudden, this beam comes and just takes him up. It's a UFO. Well, they're all running like all this stuff. 5 of them have seen this, witnessed this. 5 of them go under polygraphs and more. 5 of them all said the same story. Travis is gone. He's missing. They think they killed him. But when they go by all the scientific evidence, there's no evidence that says any of these men are guilty. Within a week, by the end of that week, Travis is back finding himself at a phone booth calling for help, saying somebody come get me or something of that sort, I believe was part of his story. And then he shares the fact of his experience on the craft with these beings who gave him much information. And he explained this all. Well, they called him a liar. Can't happen. It's not true. You're a conspiracy theorist. It's not impossible. Goes through all these lie detection tests again. They go through the lie detection test again. Every one of them point blank came out with the same story. There was no difference to anybody's experience. Some people may have a different voice of opinion. That can occur. In this case, it didn't happen. And the one that Gary just brought up, I do believe factually things like that can be observed through a person's eyes and mind differently. And that is called, to me, the Mandela Effect.
That's good. Everyone has their own interpretation.
Right. And you could see the Mr. Monopoly with the eyeglass. And when you buy it the next time, he never had one.
Oh, wow.
They were testing us on many levels, many levels.
Right.
Games and more. They were into our minds. They were experimenting with us, and many of us never noticed it. I remember the monocle. I really do. And when I
Right.
found out the original game never had one, I was like, get the hell out of here. It always
Yeah.
had one.
That wrecks my
This is,
childhood. Yeah.
that's called the Mandela Effect. And that's exactly what Gary just described. You're worried. See, I just taught you something, brother. There's also a painting where a man is looking up into the sky and there's a craft in the air. They're religious paintings. They're depicted in much of religion and in churches. When you'll go there, if you want to do some visiting, you'll find these things. And again, I'm not dogging anything. I'm just saying this is a great, great topic of interest. And
Right.
it's fun as long as you don't make a mockery out of something and don't fight about it. Just
Right.
agree to disagree and disagree to agree. It goes both ways. That's what makes life interesting. All right. Wow, he's really going here. Now there's a movie that shows Hercules and he is going through tests by the gods. Yes, Zeus and more. Okay, he does say Zeus. The movie, it shows Zeus, and I forget who the woman god was, but she shows Zeus moving obstacles on Earth, completing tests just like giant chess game, and there were pieces in this game being played by some superior beings. So they weren't, I guess, able to see them, but they were there. I got one, and there may be more than. Wait, I got one, and there may be more than that. Bigfoot can be more intelligent than humans. That's why we haven't had caught any yet for experimentation. Well, we don't know if that's factual, Gary. I mean, if you're going to bring up Bigfoot, I do that show. And by the way, it's one of the biggest viewing shows on Facebook. No lie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you in ways. We'll keep our own opinions floating with positivity here. But how do we know what the government doesn't have their hand on? How do we know that the government didn't play part in some of these genetic games and manipulations? We've had people come forth saying that there are other things in this planet, deep underground and military bases with dark projects such as this. We have China trying to create million-year-old dinosaurs right now and are being successful. We just cloned a horse, a perfect horse, a couple of years ago. What I think was cloned perfect. We have a four-legged chicken that they created. We have a goat or a sheep that was done, 1997, 1999? Do you remember that
Dolly.
when that first happened? Yeah, that happened. There's more but believe me, they're never going to give us all the information. So are they not playing hands of God? Yes, they are. Why? This particular military industrial complex, who we are fighting against, part of this whole initiative is into the creation of ancient things, ancient religious and facts. And why are they so impressed and why is it so important to them? Why is it so dark and satanic? There was a point in time it wasn't satanic. The Mayans felt that they had to appease the gods. So they would cut a guy's chest open or a beautiful woman's chest open and cut the heart out and hold it up and then bite it because it was invigorating. The Indians believed, and I talked about this just the other night, the Indians would kill the buffalo and they would take out the heart and they would bite it because they would get an adrenaline surge from the adrenaline. I don't know if I should say that word. The blood. I'll just put it to you that way. So all these things, the meat, the warmth, the blood, the energy, the spiritualism, these were just normal practices to people of some type of other normalcy. And it was just their culture, their way. In today's world, we're civilized. We do things different. And if you disobey or break the rules to that narrative, then you are considered to be satanic in many other platforms and names that people will use. And the format's quite larger because some people won't hold back on things like that. And I'm not trying to protect them, but movies were out there 50, 60 years ago, even showing things like this, cannibalism and more. And so it did exist. Sure. Did giants exist? Of course. We know it. The Smithsonian has bones. So theoretically, we were right. There was a race of giants here. They're not here. There was the Nephilim and then the Nothilim or something like that. So you had the fallen and then you had the reproduction after the flood, when giants returned. They came back. You have the Kandahar giant. Our own military fought him And whistleblowers came forth that they fought something of enormity in a cave that basically wiped out an expedition team who was told to go verify in caves and check for any. This was, I think, had to do with something with 9/11, and they were looking for, somebody or whatever the narrative was. Well, they
Right.
wound up dead. They couldn't get any voice back from hello, check in, do da 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 da. They send out a rescue team, and two of the people in the rescue team get killed by this thing. And then finally, they take it down. They get it back to the military base. They load it to a plane. What I tried to find out from that was, did it have six fingers? Did it have six toes? Did it have double row teeth? We know that there was two types of giants that were written about that had different types of anatomies. So you have things like that out there. All I'm saying, this open format of everything, as devilish as it may be, satanic as it may be, this is what these globalists are doing. And they found a way, and that's what CERN was for, to make better contact. And they're all in with something different that we despise.
I can't stand that they're using us as the experiment or the test for the jab that we were talking about earlier. And I hate that they're testing it on children. If they're the ones who are the most immune to this Wu flu, why are they being demanded to get that jab? It didn't make sense. Well, it's not as much here as it used to be. They still want you to get it here, but like Australia, it's a worldwide thing. It's terrible. And I hate that they're experimenting on people.
Well, maybe they worship something different. And just maybe it's the mark of the beast. And maybe that's their commitment to this other worldly something being that only they, through satanic practices, can make a connection to. We know the Germans love mediums and psychics, and they used to swear by receiving technology by using them. And that's how they created the first spacecrafts. In some cases, it's because there were machines found by archaeologists called Vimanas, which were actually spacecrafts, early ancient spacecrafts. And then if you go back into like cave drawings and more, and the hieroglyphs and all these other things, you see all these crafts, including planes that look like today, helicopters. And I mean, I post them on America. I don't know if you ever go into America Disclosing Uncensored, but I post a lot of shit to create an awareness for just people to be more subjective of thought, to understand this is out here. Why is it out here? And when anybody tested these objects, they all worked. Anybody that scientifically looked at the thing, analyzed it, took the proportions, enlarged it, including the gold object, the plane, ancient plane of gold, and they recreated it, the thing flew. So,
wow.
Doesn't that not put us in? This is why America Disclosing Uncensored is so important to the evidence of where I'm trying to show people there are patterns of everything that they have done or doing and are leading us or trying to lead us or provoke us into. It's satanic, and it's because they have a different ideology of how the mechanisms work and truly who controls the earth. And they do not. It's evident. Otherwise, they would not be listening to it, and they would not be putting this on us.
Are you, maybe it is in your America Disclosed or the website you're talking about?
Disclosing Uncensored, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a picture of the stained glass window? I think it was probably a Lutheran or Catholic church that had stained glass, and it was a picture of a spaceship. I mean, it was like all holy, and you had the I don't know, they always put globes on their head to show they're holy, like the Holy Family. But this was a really weird one, and there was something flying in the sky. And we thought, are those aliens or are they space people? Is it really the Holy Family? And what the heck is flying in the sky above them? So I think that the early church, I don't know if it was Catholic or who it
Roman
was.
Catholic. Roman Catholic.
Yeah, they have some stained glass pictures with these bubblehead creatures that have almond eyes and something's flying in the sky. And
Yeah.
I don't know, you never know.
Well, they do believe, from what I've gathered, and released partial disclosures as well,
Mm,
um, that there's other existences of things and places, and more. They also did own the most powerful telescope known to man. Why? What were they looking for? you know, what did you need? What were you using it for? What did you need to see? It wasn't for our scientific purposes.
wow.
No, they privately owned it, which again was because mothers and fathers and parents, worked hard to donate. Another form of taxation. To believe in our God, you must support our God. Come on, God needs nothing from us, and He doesn't need man to do anything for Him. My true God and thought can make anything happen He wants to. He doesn't need me to do it. Doesn't need you to do it. He doesn't need
Right.
all of us. you know. But yeah, again, no, I don't think I have that piece of glass, but I do remember seeing that picture several years
Yeah.
back. I
Wow.
have it. I do have. Bet you I do have it, Jen. To be quite honest with you, but you know how you upgrade from the old modem stand. Yeah, no, and I have a couple of them sitting. I need to actually fire them up and take all that information because I have so much ancient information. It's mind blowing. It is. And you
That's
know what?
fascinating.
Here's the other part. When Facebook starts to navigate around that as being false information, you're hitting the nails on the head
You
because
know,
it has
you're right.
nothing to do with political. It has
Right.
nothing to do with political. So, yeah, that's even under a little bit of attack, and I'm dealing with that.
Wow. Yeah, that's funny.
Right,
They always
Patterson Air Force Base. Yes, yes. All right. So Gary loves his stuff. By the way, he loves everything. He's a great supporter to the whole group, all the groups and patriot groups. Um, he says Wright Patterson Air Force Base has one underground building and it's kept under lock and key. Yeah, and then you have other stories that a lot of people know of where Nixon and Gleason went to had a secret meeting together. And, he picked up Jackie and they went to a military base, and Jackie got to see with his own eyes. And his wife said he was never the same after seeing what Nixon was able to show him.
wow.
So there's remarkable stories out there of truth. You have Jimmy Carter, who says he swore he saw him. President Reagan saw one in flight right out his window while he was on the big plane, Air Force
Wow.
One. He saw one right out the window, and
That's amazing.
he observed it. It was there, and then gone in a blink, just like that. And he knows what he saw. You have other airplane issues. Then you have missing planes. You have missing time. You have missing children. You have all these subjective issues of off-worlding this and agreements from President Ike Eisenhower, who made a treaty at the Holloman Air Force Base, and then you have the incident above the White House, and not even just in White House, it actually occurred in China too, where 6 to 8 craft showed up, and our Air Force couldn't do diddly squat against them. They embarrassed the hell out of them, and they didn't do it just once; they did it multiple nights to show that they were there. And if you don't want us to show, live up to your bargain. His bargain was that they were allowed to abduct and return safely, which they never lived up to the part of the agreement. And then Ike allowed certain investments of huge money and signed powers of authority to certain narratives to protect what he did, but to also keep the influence going. Then you have Project Bluebird and Blue Book and all these other narratives. And that was the whole creation of everything where bring in the German scientists because they'll get us to the moon. They know how to do it. They had all the information. Then you have the breakaway civilization that go to New Swaven in Arctic, which is supposedly nothing but a huge underground complex of an ancient city. and things in the ice flash frozen that would mind boggle people. You have an astronaut who went and visited it, and after he saw what he saw, took a heart attack. You have Jim Carrey who went there on election day. Of all days, Jim Carrey shows up. You have the Russian Pope who went there. The Vatican sends papers to what? To help unload safely the Ark of Gabriel. Not the Ark of the Covenant, but the Ark of Gabriel.
Wow. I didn't know about that.
Oh, there's more
Amazing.
than one. There's more than one, just like there's 12 crystal skulls and only 4 have been found. Now, there's stories that back all that stuff, but and again, that's just another whole facet.
Wow. That's amazing.
You know, it goes on forever. It really does.
That's
Hope I
fascinating.
didn't take you into. I wasn't trying to put you in any negative place of a negative spot, but I do know sometimes you like hearing the things. And again,
No, I'm not negative. It's okay.
when you focus upon everything we're going through, you know, in America, stay strong, support what you understand is right.
Right.
That's where we need to be, and that's where the focus is most important because America is great. Even in this moment, we are great because we sit here and we fight it. On the surface, it looks terrible, but inside where the heart beats, it's us, it's patriots. And
Right.
we come out strong every day, ready for war. The following morning, the battle starts, it ensues, and here we are at the end of every day doing something, hopefully, that, you know, gives America better thought, better comfort, and better optimism.
Yes. Yeah, it's refreshing to talk about things that you don't know about, or mystical things. It's very cool. Your America Disclosed, and it's awesome. We
You're
have to
on
be
it right now.
distracted.
America Disclosing Uncensored, 10 o'clock talks. I did it special for you. You didn't know I was throwing it in.
No, that was
It's
awesome.
right in the title. You'll see. You'll see. But you know what? I think we made impact. We talked about some things, and we were all
Yeah.
talking about them on the internet and sharing things all week.
Right,
Um,
right.
if anything changes overnight of a huge magnetism of importance and news, I mean, I'd be the first one to come on and try to share with everybody everything. But we also have to try to make sense of it. And right now, there's a lot of things that we need to make sense of so we understand it. Because why? That gives us a source of protection for ourselves. And
Right.
it may not come in a factual fear because we're thousands of miles away from it, but it's a social disease of anxiety that it creates. And that's the big weaponry system: fear, anxiety, and, you know, all these negative impacts that they create. They keep us
Right.
there. Any last thoughts before we wish America the beautiful, the best that we can?
Do your best to hold on to any freedom you have. Anything. I mean, don't wear the mask, just fight it. We're strong and there's more of us than them, so be encouraged.
Hey, I got one for you here. Gary just said, life is like a lobster tail. It looks nasty as hell through until you split it open, you taste the lobster, and it's
And
fantastic.
that's
You know,
good.
yeah, that's just it. You never know what you're gonna open up in the can of worms, man. That's the
That's
whole
good.
thing. There's a lot of truth behind that. Or, you know, you break a crab leg open, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? And hasn't this all been so perfect for humanity and us? And look how endangered this world's becoming, and the fathom that they're trying to create and destroy us within. Because again, you know, our sea population is more than 90% depleted, and some of the factual scientific statements. And that's mind
Yes.
boggling why we still have islands of floating plastic in the ocean everywhere. And aren't we in a new Green Deal? But yet nobody's out there cleaning the ocean. Shouldn't that be part of the new green? I mean, isn't that the preservation of an Earth? Isn't that the first place you should make corrections before you create batteries that we're going to have no place to store 'em? Wait, I know. They're going to put them on a battleship destroyer that has anti gravity in it, and they're going to ship them to the moon and store them on another star. That, I mean, really, it's pathetic. It's
That's
pathetic.
sad.
It's pathetic. We have so much going on in this world, and the narrative is how they foresee the narrative, not for how we foresee what is truth that is truth.
Right.
Disappointing. I want to thank you for coming and keeping me company. I hope you had
Yeah,
fun.
this was fantastic. Thank you.
No, you're a rock star. You deserve a lot. You really do. And I know your new endeavor. And they all take longer. I tell myself I can paint that wall in 45 minutes. I paint it in 45 minutes and I see bleed through all through it. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, another 45 minutes. So, we get caught up in that. But, don't give up. Stay strong. Battle continues. Again, thank you, everyone who listens to Studio 10 Broadcasting, America in Crisis, Pittsburgh's Talking, the Bigfoot Radio Group, Dark Radio Network projects, and more. Look for me on all the different platforms. I will do my best to keep up with them through these times. What is foremost and most important right now will be to share anything that we can. And please share with me any informations and send them. Ukraine is in the focus of the light here. Thank God Putin waited for Canada to have a little bit of a resolve. Because if it's not one catastrophic ordeal, we must move into the next.
Man.
Isn't it amazing? Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you,
Thank
Jen.
you.
Good night. Blessings
Good
to you.
night.
Prayers. Jesse, I love you, brother.
It's funny. Thank you.
Yeah, I am. I try to be. Not so much. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.